Hello, I'm Stephen Carbonell, and I'm going to be doing TCP IP is not secure. So what do we need to really change in the system? So we're first going to address the fundamental weaknesses of TCP IP. The fact that it's a one-owner environment means we do not have shared operations and devices, and trying to define good behavior within a TCP IP environment. So the number one problem with TCP IP is our major security weaknesses, and this impact on our security of our applications and our devices and our edge compute platforms in general. And the first thing is that there's no native security in TCP IP. And then the next big thing is we don't lack of packet accountability, meaning that we can drop packets where it makes it extremely difficult to identify where a problem is occurring with TCP IP, and there's no way to stop distributed denial of service attacks to edge devices. And this distributed denial of service attack to edge devices is a major problem that cannot be solved by simply adding a VPN in front of it, because the data pipe to the edge gets overloaded. And this is a common problem with all IoT devices. The lack of protocol accountability into the endpoints means that we can do packet injection and there's no process to identify where the packet injection occurred, i.e. the man-in-the-middle attack, in the protocol. We just know it happened. And on top of this, for our applications, we have poor communication telemetry available to them, so they don't know stuff like bandwidth. And any security that we have built is for a single owner operation of i.e. we've created virtual private networks. These VPNs are for one owner, and they can cause unnecessary data backhaul with edge compute. And this still does not solve distributed denial of service attacks to the devices. And the lack of accountability for stuff like packet acknowledgements. We don't know the reason of a packet failure. And on top of this in here, there's no way to report a bad packet or behavior back to the system. So an invalid login attempt or an explicit attack on the system, there is no common way to report back to the network about this. This means that hostile behavior is still valid TCP IP traffic because we don't have a security system. Distributed DDoS, denial of service attacks, is a normal TCP IP traffic. And normal traffic is pretty much defined as not bad as related to TCP IP traffic. TCP IP does not define good or bad behavior in relation to devices. So our biggest problem is it's too simplistic for using behavioral definitions. Our security stops at our TCP IP network. Our packet injection is possible for every application. Requires a custom alert process when we have this packet injection. So this means that there's no common system to report, meaning that we have no community of training and processes between applications and systems, and we have no central system or repository for dealing with security alerts, verification, and problems. Application security is really the only security system that the application could ever rely upon, or is really on the network, and our application and our network security knowledge is not shared. An example of this is is that there's no way to report an invalid login to the network applications to say this incoming address should not be allowed to send any further login attempts to anyone within the system. We need to define the relationship between our applications, our networks, and our users. So TCP is just a message delivery services. that deliver an unknown author, an unknown content, and we don't know who the sender was. So we have to now review all the messages, determine the validity, establish the importance, and then respond as required. Our big message issues are junk messages, undeliverable messages, dangerous items being delivered, and malicious data in the messages. End of section. Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Alfred for section 2.